Next her I saw admired Antiope, Aesopus' daughter, who, as much as she boasted attraction of great Neptune's love, boasted to slumber in the arms of Jove. And two sons, likewise, at one burden bore that to that her all-controlling paramour, Amphion and fair Zethus, that first laid great Thebes' foundation, and strong walls conveyed about her turrets that 7 ports enclosed. For though the Thebans much in strength reposed, yet had not they the strength to hold their own without the added aid of wood and stone. Alcmena next I saw, that famous wife was to Amphitryo, and honoured life gave to the lion-hearted Hercules, that was of Jove's, embraced the great increase. I saw besides proud Creon's daughter there, bright Megara, that nuptial yoke did wear with Jove's great son, who never field did try, but bore to him the sower of victory. The mother then of Oedipus I saw, fair Epicasta, that beyond all law her own son married, ignorant of kind, and he as darkly taken in his mind, his mother wedded, and his father slew, whose blind act heaven exposed at length to view. And he in all loved Thebes the supreme state with much moan managed, for the heavy fate the gods laid on him. She made violent flight to Pluto's dark house from the loathed light, beneath a steep beam strangled with the cord, and left her son in life pains as abhorred as all the furies poured on her in hell. Then saw I Chloris, that did so excel in answering beauties, that each part had all. Great Neleus married her, when gifts not small had won her favour, termed by name of dower. She was of all Amphion seed the flower. Amphion called Aeacides, that then ruled strongly Maenian Orchomen, and now his daughter ruled the Pylian throne, because her beauty's empire overshone. She brought her wife-odd husband Neleus, Nestor much honoured, Periclymenus and Chromius, sons with sovereign virtues graced, but after brought a daughter that surpassed rare-beautied Pero, or for form exact, that nature to a miracle was racked in her perfections, blazed with eyes of men, that made of all the country's hearts a chain, and drew them suitors to her, which her sire took advantage of, and since he did aspire to nothing more than to the broad-browed herd of oxen, which the common fame so reared, owned by Iphiclus, not a man should be his Pero's husband, that from Phylace those never yet driven oxen could not drive. Yet these strong hope held him to achieve, because a prophet that had never erred had said that only he should be preferred to their possession. But the equal fate of God withstood his stealth. Inextricate imprisoning bands, and sturdy churlish swains that were the herdsmen, who withheld with chains the stealth attempter, which was only he that durst abet the act with prophecy. None else would undertake it, and he must. The king would needs a prophet should be just, and when some days and months expired were, and all the hours had brought about the year, the prophet did so satisfy the king, Iphiclus, with all his cunning questioning, that he enfranchised him, and all worst done, Jove's counsel made the all-safe conclusion. Then saw I Leda, linked in nuptial chain with Tyndarus, to whom she did sustain sons much renowned for wisdom, Castor one, that passed for use of horse comparison, and Pollux, that excelled in whirlbat fight. Both these the fruitful earth bore, while the light of life inspired them. After which they found such grace with Jove, that both lived underground by change of days. Life still did one sustain, while the other died. The dead then lived again, the living dying. Both of one self date their lives and deaths made by the gods and fate. Iphimedia after Leda came, that did derive from Neptune too the name of father to 2 admirable sons. Life yet made short their admirations, who God opposed Otus had to name, and Ephialtes far in sound of fame. The prodigal earth so fed them, that they grew to most huge stature, and had fairest hue of all men but Orion under heaven. At 9 years old, 9 cubits they were driven abroad in breath, and sprung 9 fathoms high. They threatened to give battle to the sky and all the immortals. They were setting on Ossa upon Olympus, and upon steep Ossa heavy Peleus, that even they might a highway make with lofty heaven. And had perhaps performed it had they lived till they were striplings. But Jove's son deprived their limbs of life before the age that begins the flower of youth, and should adorn their chins. Phaedra and Procrus, with wise Minos's flame, bright Ariadne, to the offering came, whom whilom Theseus made his prize from Crete, that Athens' sacred soil might kiss her feet, but never could obtain her virgin flower, till in the sea-girt Dia Dian's power detained him homeward haste, where, in her fane, by Bacchus witnessed, was the fatal wane of her prime glory. Mera, Clymene I witnessed there, and loathed Eriphyle, that honoured gold more than she loved her spouse. But all the heroesses in Pluto's house that then encountered me exceeds my might to name or number. An Ambrosian night would quite be spent, when now the formal hours present to sleep are all disposed powers, if at my ship or here. My home-made vow I leave for fit grace to the gods and you. This said, the silence his discourse had made, with pleasure held still through the house's shade, when white-armed Arete this speech began. Phaeacians, how appears to you this man, so goodly personed, and so matched with mind? My guest he is, but all you stand combined in the renown he doth us. Do not then with careless haste dismiss him, nor the main of his dispatch to one so needy maim. The gods' free bounty gives us all just claim to goods enow. This speech, the oldest man of any other Phaeacensian, the grave hero Alcinous, gave all approbation, saying, Friends, ye have the motion of the wise queen in such words as have not missed the mark, with which accords my clear opinion. But Alcinous, in word and work must be our rule. And thus Alcinous said, This then must stand, if while I live I rule in the command of this well-skilled in navigation state. Endure then, guest, though most importunate be your affects for home. A little stay, if your expectance bear, perhaps it may our gifts make more complete. The cares of all your due deduction asks, but principal I am therein the ruler. He replied, Alcinous, the most duly glorified with rule of all men, if you lay commandment on me of a whole year's stay, so all the while your preparation rise, and as well in gifts as time, ye can devise no better wish for me. For I shall come much fuller-handed and more honoured home, and dear to my people, in whose loves the richer evermore the better proves. He answered, There is argued in your sight a worth that works not men nor benefit, like prowlers or impostors, of which crew the gentle black earth feeds not up a few, here and there wanderers, blanching tales and lies of neither praise nor use. You move our eyes with form, our minds with matter, and our ears with elegant oration, such as bears a music in the ordered history it lays before us. Not Demodocus with sweeter strains hath used to sing to us all the Greek sorrows wept out in your own. But say, of all your worthy friends were none objected to your eyes that consorts were to Ilion with you, and served destiny there? This night is passing long, unmeasured, none of all my household would to bed yet. On, relate these wondrous things. Were I with you, if you would tell me but your woes as now, till the divine Aurora showed her head, I should in no night relish thought of bed. Most eminent king, said he, times all must keep. There's time to speak much, time as much to sleep. But would you hear still, I will tell you still, and utter more miserable ill of friends than yet, that scaped the dismal wars, and perished homewards, and in household jars waged by a wicked woman. The chaste queen no sooner made these lady ghosts unseen, here and there flittering, but mine eyesight won the soul of Agamemnon, Atreus' son, sad, and about him all his train of friends that in Aegisthus' house endured their ends with his stern fortune. Having drunk the blood, he knew me instantly, and forth a flood of springing tears gushed. Out he thrust his hands, with will to embrace me. But all their commands flowed not about him, nor their weakest part. I wept to see, and moaned him from my heart.